I wanted to come in and make a video tonight because I think the video I share with those about the OTE concept, OTE entry system that I use, the video I send by Casper, he's pretty specific on, uh, time frame chart that he uses, which is 15 minute, and the time of day that he trades this. And it has to be a very specific setup. Um, but I think some of you are taking that a little too literally. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking for that setup on that time frame, uh, but what I need you guys to understand is that that's not the only way to trade this system. Um, and I wanted to show you basically what I do because I don't look for that 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. trade that he looks for on the 15-minute chart. Um, I use the OTE fib all throughout the day, from London session to New York close. Um, if it sets up, it sets up, regardless of what time it is. And I also trade on the 5 minute chart, not the 15 minute. Um, so, you know, you guys need to be aware of this. Now, just for, I just found one here in gold. Um, yeah. So, and this happened at 10:30 in the morning. Um, it didn't take the liquidation until 10:30 in the morning. Casper's looking for a liquidation move before 7 a.m., uh, which there was one right here. Well, no, that wasn't even before 7. So that was around 9:30 around the open. Okay. Um, but basically what I'm looking for, it's the same setup. It's just not required to be in a certain time. There's also not a liquidity grab needed. It's better if you have the liquidity grab, yes. Um, it's probably a little bit more uh, of a higher probability trade, but it's not required. Okay, and I'll show you that. So in gold over here, right at 10:30, 10:25, 10:30 candle pushed up and took the high from 9:20, 9:30. Okay, it took the high, and then we had this nice displacement down. That's what I'm looking for. Doesn't matter what time of day, doesn't matter if it took a high. All I'm looking for is this displacement down. Okay. Um, and that's what matters. Okay. So you get the displacement down. As soon as that starts pulling back, you can put your fib on uh, right here. You can put your fib on from the high to the low. Okay. And then wait for price to come back to the 6.2 or the 7.0 or even the 7.9, wherever you want to put it. You might not always get the 7.9. You'll get the 6.2 or the 7.0 quite a bit. Um, in fact, I may even start going for the 7.0 instead of the 6.2, just because it's going to give me a little bit tighter of a stop loss. Okay, I can risk a little bit less. But if you put that order in, anytime you see displacement that breaks structure, that broke this low right here. Okay, so it pushed up, grabbed liquidity. Even if it didn't break this high and it pushed down hard like this and it broke structure, it not just broke that low, but it broke this low as well, I'm still going to put a fib up and I'm going to trade it if it comes back up to the 6.2 or 7.05. Okay. Um, and I'll show you that in a minute. But this one actually took liquidity. It swept the high and had an immediate and hard reversal that broke structure. Okay. So that's the displacement move that we're looking for. And then we can take the trade when it comes back. Missy, go lay down. And let's just say we went ahead and took it on the 6.2. Okay. So you got to risk the high and you're looking to come down to the 2.7. Okay. And that's going to give you a little bit more than 2 to 1 every time. Well, I mean, that's exactly where it comes down to before it reversed. Okay. Uh, that was 6:40 in the morning. So, uh, and we can't hold overnight. So, you know, you get in the trade. Well, actually, yeah, it still would have been a valid trade because you get in the trade at 8 o'clock at night in the Asian session and it plays around a little bit and then finally falls off and comes down to the 2.7. Okay. It just wouldn't have been taken that day. It would have been taken the day after. So you would have gotten into the trade right here at 8 o'clock at night at the Asia Open. Okay. Um, now, again, I don't usually trade Asia, so I probably would not have taken this trade. Um, I might have taken some of it once I saw it, starting to fail and break back below the 50. I might have taken some of it down through here. Um, but I'm not placing this order and just letting it run in the Asian session. I just don't trust the Asian session enough, even though this one worked out. So, but that's the main thing I want you guys to see is this doesn't have to be, pre-market New York or at the New York Open. It can be anywhere. I mean, it can show up in Asia. It can show up in London session. It can show up anywhere. Okay, so um, you know, what I was talking about, it doesn't need to take liquidity. Here was the perfect one um, on Thursday on the NQ at the New York Open. It pushed down, pushed up, and then we had this big displacement move that broke structure. Okay, now it didn't take out a high unless you're counting, very first candle of New York. It took out that high and then fell over. But it that's not real recognizable. That's not a high you would recognize. You know, some people would think, it needs to come out and take out this high. Well, it doesn't have to take out, big high or a big low. All you need to see is a big displacement move. Okay. Um, Now this just happens to be off of a level, which is Monday's high. Okay. Um, it pushed up to Monday's high, didn't break it, didn't take liquidity off of it, but couldn't get past it and then just fell and broke structure. Nice strong displacement with a break of structure. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. And then when that starts to pull back, you throw your fib on that push down and I mean perfect. Enter at the 7.0. It doesn't break the 7.9 and it comes down and past the 2.7. So you could have even left a runner on this trade and caught a little bit more. Okay. But again, the whole point is to um, not think that this has to be traded at a certain time or on a certain time frame. You can use it on any time frame. Okay. Now here's one that, might have gotten you in trouble, or if you manage your trade well and you're actually on the charts, um, you know, we took out this high and had an immediate push down that broke structure. Nice displacement move that broke structure. Okay. So if you put a fib up on that and it starts to reverse, you can enter at the 6-2. We've entered right here. Now, this is where you have to be, a little bit careful, and experience will help you with this once you're trading it for a while. Okay. Um, yes, you're expecting it to come down to the 2-7, but look at how big this reversal was right here that created an order block. Okay. And we have this inverse order block. That's the gray bar. Okay. So there was an order block before that got inversed, and now it's come down and that held and it made another order block. Well, where is that order block? Well, if we take the last down candle and we draw this order block in here, this is what we have. Okay. So this is a order block. Okay. So if you were to enter this trade 6-2, um, on a short, okay, and you risk the high and you're looking for it to come down here, are you really looking for it to come all the way to the 2-7? Well, I would say no. I mean, you've got something in your way that's obviously a pretty strong level. I mean, you have an equal and opposite reversal candles here. That's really strong reversal. Okay, so I would not expect this to break this order block. And in fact, if I got down into that order block at all, I'd be pretty happy about it. Um, so when it comes time to look at this trade and this pushes down and then you start getting this reversal. I mean, you already had one up candle at the top of the order block. Then you push down a little bit further and it comes up and almost breaks the high, pulls back down. I mean, get out of this trade somewhere down here. Even if you wait till the end of that candle, I mean, that's an up candle. Get out of it. You're not even getting 1-to-1, but that's better than, you know, waiting for the almost impossible of this thing to get through this order block that was just made. This is a fresh order block. And anytime an order block's made, when it comes down to retest it, 90% of the time, it's going to take off. Okay. It's not coming straight back through an order block that was just made. But even then, I mean, if you take this trade with one contract, you're still making $785 if you get out down here somewhere. Okay. So now the risk on this one is $1,000. And again, this is on the minis, and this is, if I was trading a $250,000 account, I'd be okay with risking that $1,000. On a $50,000 account, I mean, I would want to be in micros, not risking more than $500. So like 4 micros, 5 micros on this trade. All right. So you'd be making about 350, 390 on the trade if you got out of it around here. Okay, which is still fine profit. So you kind of have to watch for these things. And this is why, you know, I have you set up the indicators the way I have you set them up so that you can see these things like order blocks. This was a very strong displacement, but it created an order block when it went back up. And that's not something we're going to expect it to go through. Okay. Now, conversely, knowing that that order block is there and you take the first trade, and then all of a sudden that thing reverses and shoots up and breaks structure. Well, guess what you just had? You just grabbed liquidity from an order block. You had displacement up that broke structure. Okay, it's a market structure shift, but close enough to a break of structure. So you can literally put a fib on that from the bottom to the top and enter the opposite trade at the 6-2 and go all the way up to the 2-7. Okay. Now you've got a full trade that works because the order block showed you that, price is not going to go any further down or going up. So at least for one tick through, and if you risk the low, take it to the 2-7. That gives you 2.3 to 1 risk reward. On one contract, you're risking 740 to win 1745. Okay. And if you are doing one contract, you know, on the last one you made about 780. So now you're up $2,400 on the day. Okay. So I hope that helps a little bit and clears up uh, the fact that you don't have to wait for that specific time frame or work on, only the 15-minute chart like Casper shows. Yes, that's a really good setup when it happens, but like he said, that only happens maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Okay. So, and I'm taking trades every day because I'm looking at the 5-minute chart and I am just finding, you know, good displacement movements that break structure off of key levels. And this was, off of an order block. Um, this one here was a liquidity grab that had displacement, so I take the trade. But I'm not looking to get full profit on this trade because I know this order block is sitting down here. In fact, I probably would have taken it off on this candle when it came down and hit the order block because it could have just immediately went straight up. It doesn't have to make that extra little push down, but that's grabbing some extra liquidity and then taking off. And then we take the up trade off of this displacement and the pullback up to the 2-7. Okay. So look around on your charts, try to find these areas. Okay. Use the indicators. Um, the levels we're watching are order blocks, fair value gaps, and time-based liquidity, previous monthly, dailies, Monday's lows, highs, stuff like that. Okay. So, and liquidity pools. I mean, this thing came up, it ran through this buy side liquidity pool, and then huge displacement. Now, does Asia or London come back to the 6-2 or the 7-0? It's very likely, for a move lower. And we can put a fib up on that. Take this one off because that's already done. And we can be watching the Asian enough. We can be watching the Asian and London session to see if this comes up to 6-2 or 7-0. Now, I would probably want to see the 7-0 and then risk just above this high on the 7-9 because we do have, uh, it didn't show an order block because it didn't break this low, but it did break structure. Okay. So I would, I would want to see it not get past this right here. Okay. So I might risk this high here. That way it's a little tighter of a stop because I don't trust Asia. Um, and if it loses, then I can watch it. If it takes liquidity and then falls, then we can see what happens. Um, but that was a very good displacement move that broke structure, so it's a very valid trade to take. regardless of the time of day or what session it's in. Okay. Anyway, I hope that helps. Any questions, always ask away. I'm more than happy to help or make another video explaining what I need to. So, um, yeah, I'm going to post this up tonight so everybody can see it before Monday. It is Saturday night, and I am sitting in my truck in Pennsylvania. So, have a great rest of your weekend, and see everyone on Monday.